coming. And we're live again. I was wondering whether the internet was going to work. It's always fun. I'm Christine Bell, and I love doing these Learn and Grow Business Snappy Chats. It's all about learning from each other because guess what? Most of us who are micro or small business owners, we do a lot of things on our own, and we have to learn so many different things, and it can get quite lonely. But the fact is, we all go through many of the same experiences, which is why we can learn and grow from each other. And I'm super happy to have Michael back, third time. I love what you do, Michael. You're a social impact entrepreneur. You're someone who never quits, and you're someone who's going to keep going. And I just love that about you. But please tell us a little bit more about yourself to the audience who may be listening now or later.
For sure. I'm from Canada, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I'm a partially blind entrepreneur that has a product that's an assistive hearing device that's accessible and affordable for everybody of all ages. And I'm attempting to try to make it go global one day, but so far so good.
I know it's a big deal. I mean, you are a one-man band trying to go global, so good on you. And you've had tremendous success so far. And I love how you have approached your marketing strategy from a different way that's really aligned to your customers. So we'll talk more about that shortly. I just want to say hello to Royce. I so appreciate Royce. He always shows up. So I really appreciate that. And he's a great guest as well. I don't know if you met Royce Blake yet?
Yes, I have.
Yes,
I have. Hi, Royce. How are you?
So thank you for being here. Now, let's, in terms of one of the challenges I know that you have faced, and something that I'm really passionate about, is to understand our customers, right? Because if we don't understand the customers, we can struggle a lot with how we're actually going to bring them from awareness through to actually being interested, through to actually taking action and loyalty, right?
100%.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I know that you have a very well-defined audience, and I know that you have worked hard at really building awareness and loyalty with them. So tell us a little bit more about the challenge you faced there, Michael, please.
Yeah, I think ever since day one, when I started working with seniors, they give me a lot of feedback, and it's important to get feedback from them. That's how you change and evolve with them, right? Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have changed to my second product. I would have been stuck with my first product that was not senior friendly enough because it was a little bit complicated with the buttons, but I really liked the idea of bone conduction, so I kept it. They gave me some ideas, so I made it way more senior friendly, right? Than the one button to turn on, a dual volume. So it was that reason why I started listening to them a lot more now, right? So I realized that the senior population, they're not only a lot of them are scared of technology. They're actually a little bit frightened of it. So that's why a lot of them, yeah. So they don't have cell phones. They have flip phones if they do, right? So they're very old school. And there's a reason, obviously, and they don't really like too much interruption in their lives unless there's something really impactful, right? So when I presented my product to them, a lot of them were still kind of like shriveled back. They're like, oh, I don't know about this, right? But over time, the numbers started going up. The participants started going up. People were really interested in it. But you have to really nurture them and really guide them and support them because a lot of them don't have family support. Some of them do, some of them don't, right? And the best scenario is like you have support from staff, support from me, and from family. But you can sell them products and they don't know how to use it, then it's pointless, right? So I take my time. That's why I go coast to coast. I go BC all the way to Ontario. I drive up everywhere, and I spend my time to really like sit with them, talk to them, each individual one, and even though it's a lot slower with sales, but it's a genuine, authentic, trust that they have with me, and that's why I have so many seniors supporting me nationally now, and senior brands that are like want to partner up and go with me because they see the major demand for this, but at the same time they're not young anymore, and anything can spook them out. So you have a product, you have to really take your time with them.
I love that. I love your approach because I think sometimes you look on Instagram or other places, and there's so many sort of like almost like this is how you do it and it works for everyone. And I really don't believe that the same strategy works for different markets always, and industries, and definitely different audiences as well. And so this like one size fit all for me is absolutely not true. It has to be tailored. And I love that you have really created something that's very meaningful to yourself and to the people you're helping, in terms of really adding value to their life and allowing them to become more social again and participate in life more. But I love how you have really understood where they're at in their life, what their background is, because, you know, they didn't come from a, you know, a life of technology until later in life, you know. And even when I grew up, I didn't, you know, we had a black and white TV, I think, until the 80s when we finally got a color TV. And, you know, I didn't have a computer or phone, mobile phone, until a certain time. And I think understanding that, and then also being able to actually realize how important the customer experience is in terms of building trust, long-term trust. And when people build trust with you and your brand and your product, then that's when they will remember to tell other people about it too.
Yes, for sure. Like, and another thing is that, you know, most people would just buy, you know, they'll buy your product and they'll just use it. But with seniors, they really have their loved ones as their financial decision makers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't push it on them. So I want them to understand everything about the product, right? So now we have a loan of flow program where I decided to locally loan it to them for 3 days with a deposit, and
Yeah.
gives them time to use it and understand it and get familiar with it, with the sounds, because it's a little bit different. When they first try, they're
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, it's so different," and it scares
Yeah.
them. But 3 days was enough, and a lot of them are actually starting to appreciate that extra 3 days, right? And you can't expect seniors to just jump in and buy things anymore. That's why it is a little trickier with them. But
Yeah.
now I get referrals and people are like, "Oh, this gentleman's really helpful, and really the CEO really goes is out of his way to really help us, right? And
Yeah.
talk to us genuinely." So that's what
Yeah.
sets me apart. I think people all can do that, right? So with their
Yeah.
own brands, right?
Yeah, and it is important to think about it though, because setting ourselves apart and standing out is key. I just want to say, Royce has said this is such a breakthrough for those who suffer from hearing loss. Absolutely. And even those who are blind, I think, too, can use this as well, because it helps them orientate, right?
Yep.
So that's amazing. But I think you're so right. It's really being able to set yourself apart and stand out. And that means you have to spend time in the market. And I know you've done so much research, you know, to really understand it from their perspective, which is where empathy really comes in terms of paying time, spending time, and active listening. So I love that. Now, in terms of where that came from, that willingness, I guess, because a lot of business owners are like, oh, I don't have time for that. Yeah, we're just gonna scale quickly, and we gotta be able to like get lots of sales in quickly, etc. Don't have time to travel around and spending time just having conversations with people, etc.
Yep.
But I think especially when you're starting out and depending what budget you have, it's a really powerful way to build your brand, to learn what works and doesn't work, and to
Yep.
also stand out,
Yeah.
be
I think
memorable.
I think in the beginning when we're all hungry and thirsty, like we're just starting off, I'm thinking a lot of business owners go all the way out and they do like above and beyond, right? It's when people get too much success and then they start getting comfortable, and then you see them start stepping back, and then the CEOs are just kind of like they're comfortable with where it's at. So then they don't ever get better and better. Like for me, it's like I want to have longevity. I want to have a brand that's going to be, you know, in the market, but like a brand that people trust and support. So then other competitors come in, it's not going to really affect me too much because you have that loyalty, right? That means a
Yeah,
lot. So yeah,
yeah, it means a lot. And in terms of having that resilience, right? It takes a bit of resilience for a business owner to keep going. How long have you been working on this so far?
2.5 years, almost three
Yeah,
years in
yeah.
October. Yeah, it's been over. Oh,
Yeah, it
time
takes a
flies.
long time. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yes, but at least you know you're passionate about what you're doing. So
Yes.
where
Yeah.
does this passion and this resilience? Because that's something that you know we have to have from the inside, and I've had to do a lot of personal development as well. But there has to be some drive. So what's your drive? Where did that come from? And
Yeah, I came. I think when I was young, like I've been through the trenches. You know, I've been through hell and back. You know, I lost my mom when I was 12 from cancer, and you know, I became like a street kid. I ran away. My family, my dad couldn't control me, so I was just like out there wrecking havoc. And you know, but I came back, and I try to learn from my mistakes. We all make mistakes when we're young, but through my lifetime, I always been through a lot of hardship and a lot of struggles, obstacles. Worked at the hotel, and I worked my way to the top, and scholarships, dishwashing, everything, all the way to the top. And then when it came time to get that position, they gave it to his roommate who had no experience. So I was so upset. I quit, and I ended up learning how to do real estate. I learned how to do stocks. And I have ADHD, and I never read a book in my life, but everything's self-taught, self-funded. So it doesn't mean you have ADHD, you can't learn. It's just you learn what you really love, right? So I focus on the things I really like doing.
Yeah.
And for this right now, it's what drives me, because I see the seniors' reaction. I see some of them just crying. They're just like so happy. Like some of them don't have much savings, and this is something perfectly catered for the low income families, and that
Yeah.
makes up for most people in the world, right? So, and I think just seeing real life experiences really makes me want to keep going and going, right? It's helping a lot of people. So that's what drives me, and my mom, like the spirit of my mom. Like I think I did too much wrong. I feel like I let her down, and now this is the time I can make her proud.
Yeah, I love that because it's a personal quest as well for you, and it's something that you also get a lot back from when you see people actually changing their lives, right? One at
Yeah,
a
for
time.
sure.
And
Yeah,
you don't need, is the impact of one changing one person's life versus 10 million. I don't know. I don't think there's necessarily a big difference. It's each one, right? Oh, we've
for
got
sure.
Randy here. Oh, I'm so pleased you're here. Randy House, he's amazing. If you haven't met him, thank you for being here. And Lisa is here too, so thank you. Yes, I think it's this thing of, people are like, oh, I got to reach 10 million. But you know what? It's about reaching one person at a time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think it's more fulfilling when you do, like, smaller and smaller and smaller. It gets bigger and bigger, but I don't know. I'm enjoying the learning experience. I learned everything on my own, right? I learned how to build a website. I learned how to import export. It's like you just have to really love what you're doing, right? And I think, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what drives
And I
me.
think and I think there's a lot of self-learning when you build a business and you don't have money to get a lot of help in. I think there's a really important learning curve that we should actually embrace rather than to try and outsource, at least in the beginning. It's really important that we understand different aspects of a business. For me, obviously, I prefer to outsource technology,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
sometimes I have to battle within myself. And other people prefer to outsource sales, or they prefer to outsource their strategy, whatever, or their social media, etc. Right? And it's not that we can't do it, but there is a benefit to learning some of it first to understand how do we best voice what we're about, how do we best bring to life our brand, etc. And what is the tone of voice we speak in, what is the way we connect with people, and how we're going to do it. Hey, Randy, it's great to see you. So I think for
yeah.
me, in terms of building a business, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you've ever faced in building that business and keeping going and being resilient?
Um, I mean, just filter out like negativity. Like, there's always going to be people telling you, oh, your product's not good enough, or like they say there's going to be competition, or some people, just I just do what I do, and as long as I'm making people happy, and you got to make everyone happy. There's not a single product out there that everybody's 100% happy.
Yeah.
When most people are happy, then I'm happy, right? And it's all under my own control. So like, like I do need like a little time off here and there, but I just keep going, right? But it's very satisfying, and um there's always gonna be challenges, but I think you just have to think outside the box. Like for me, I was never afraid to try new things, so I tried everything. I learned everything on my own. Some other people might not feel comfortable doing it, but like I've done 50 podcasts. I've done like 100 public speaking events. I never used to want to do it. I used to be so scared. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Now I just go up. I don't even think about it. I was like, hey, 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 like, 100 people, 200 people. Like, sure, never
Yeah.
even, not even a little worry anymore. Before I was like so nervous, right? But I think people need to practice and practice, like just like you being a host, right? You practice
Yeah,
so
no,
many
I
times, right?
totally, exactly. I'll tell you what, it's so funny. And I just want to say we've got Royce on here. So anyone who wants to learn to use their voice, I highly recommend you reach out to Royce because he's a great, he used to be a radio presenter, but He's so great at giving you confidence in terms of how to speak. But like you, yes, it's funny because in my career, I was actually presenting a lot for the agencies. So I would go and present to big CEOs, etc., in big companies. And I didn't feel that nervous about that because I was doing it on behalf of an agency. But as soon as I was my own brand, it was just me, and I was talking about me and what made me special and what I was passionate about, the nerves came straight in. Oh, Claudia is here too. Great to see you, Claudia. And Joanne as well. Then the nerves, and Kenya as well, Michael as well. Gosh, we got everyone here. Wonderful, Jim. Now, I got really nervous when I was speaking on behalf of myself. Like, that was literally, oh my goodness, I'm standing on stage. But like you said, you have to keep practicing. You have to keep trying. You can't let a moment of, oh my gosh, did I sound wrong? Did I look weird, etc. You can't let that stop you, right? The first video I put on LinkedIn, I was so nervous. I practiced so many times. I had all my cards here. I was reading it out like this, and I was editing it, this little video, for 2 hours to make it work. And then I put it out anyway. And you could tell I was nervous. You could tell that I was reading. You could do all that. And all I said was my first video. I said, hello, this is my first video. That's all I said. Hello, This is my first video. Here I am, but I'm going to start showing up. And I got a lot of positive feedback. People want to support others.
Yeah, I actually think that it's funny because the 2 times I was like my worst experience public speaking was using cue cards or trying to remember the sequence, but I know it all in my head. So when I say it, it's like improvised now, and I just say it like so easily, but not like has to be exactly like in sequence. But when you think too much, overthink too much, you're reading stuff, it just psychs you out, right? Now you're really gonna bomb it. And those are my worst times. Yeah.
Some of the best training you can do, and again, we've got Royce here in case anyone wants some help with that, is to learn to improvise.
Yeah.
And I had someone reach out to me after that video saying, hey, you can learn to improvise. 100%. And that means you have a couple of points, like you said, in your head, and then you just let the rest flow, right? Yeah. And you know this, and everyone who's been on my show as a guest will know this. I come completely unprepared every time.
And those are the best.
And I don't even really know where the conversations half the time is going.
Yeah, those are the good ones, though.
It is, because you never know what comes up. And I think that's the point. And I think that's why potentially as well that you are connecting so well with the seniors when you reach out to them, is that you're paying attention to what they're saying. I'm listening to what you're saying, and that's where I'm going from, right? I'm completely wrapped up in this conversation with you. I don't have an agenda. I'm just curious about what you have and what comes up and what I can relate to as well, what I think others can relate to.
For sure. And I feel like now I'm actually the voice of the voiceless, because a lot of seniors can't speak for themselves. So that's why every time I do this, I'm that guy, like the senior whisperer.
Yeah.
So they respect it.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm assuming a lot of the seniors you meet in the nursing homes aren't necessarily on LinkedIn paying attention or listening out for your podcast, etc. But I'm guessing as well, it's really important for you to connect with the families, right?
Oh yeah, like I encourage to see the families come out, but weekdays are busy, so weekends I do some events on weekends, and then they can come out. But I think in general, when I come in, usually after my events, they're pretty happy. Some are standing ovation. Some are even like telling their loved ones about it, and I hear back later down the road from someone else. They're like, "Oh, this is great." So it makes me happy that they enjoy it, because I do little jokes and stuff and make it like fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because again, it's about that connection as well, and you are doing something that could completely change the market, right? So of course you're going to have competition who is not that interested in you coming out with something that's groundbreaking, cheaper, and more available to, potentially could change how they see their products, right? Yeah. So we have to work with that, of course. Ranger says he loves spontaneity, so do I. So in terms of being aware there's competition and that you are coming in with something that's groundbreaking potentially in the hearing aids space and stuff. Yeah. How do we work around that? How do we keep going when others don't necessarily want us to succeed?
Yeah. think it's yeah, it's happening. It's happening already, right? So I can't
Yeah,
I can't let them, I can't let them slow me down because they're obviously a big organization. So even when I did a event yesterday, there's 20 hearing vendors and there's one of me. So usually they keep us separated because last year they put me in the middle of them and they're just
yeah.
staring me down, right? And I was like, okay, my lineup's getting busier and busier, and they're just wondering who is this guy, right? So it's okay because it drives me more. It fuels me more when they're bothered by this, right? Because it shows I'm um they're worried about me a little bit. So end of the day is that I'm trying to get accessibility, affordability for people, and I feel like that this is going the right direction, right? I can't speak for them, like is they can do whatever they want, so they tried to stop me, and it's only gonna fuel me more. So yeah.
And I love that because sometimes not everyone's going to love us. Some people have other agendas. Some people are just threatened, and that can be in personal experiences as well. So with that in mind, how do we get that resilience in terms of the self-worth as well, right? So we all have to work through to that to some extent because, it can be hard when people come after us or they put us down or they don't invite us, etc. And we got something that is valued as well.
Yeah, like I was, these things happen. I get bothered by like, half a day and I just move on and think of all the positive things I'm doing. And then it's way outweighs what they're doing to me. So, I and the list is way bigger, so I feel really confident about this. That's why this hands-on experience with seniors is not like any other industry. So, and not that it's not easily replicated either. So seniors already come with an attitude where they don't really trust everybody because of all the scams that happens all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I really took my time, and I think they really understand that I really care for them because I actually have a disability. So we resonate with each other, right? So that's another
Yeah.
personal thing I have with them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Now, I imagine that it can be hard to travel. I mean, Canada is pretty big, right? And if you want to do global, it's even bigger. It can be hard to travel around to every single senior home.
Yeah, it is.
That takes time and energy. Now, how do we then grow that? What's the plan for how to grow that? Is it to have more people like yourself that become representative and help you go to more homes?
Um, I think at the moment I'm okay with doing it all myself because I feel like I have the most like passion. I'm always worried about hiring people because they're just not it's not theirs, right? So I always take on everything myself, but I know
Yeah,
eventually I need to grow. I need to hire people. It's a process,
yeah,
right? But I've already
yeah. We
been
don't want you to burn out, hey?
yeah, I already got it coast to coast, and I had a success already. Um, but I want to do TV shows. I want to do all that stuff, right? But some of them are not ready for a disruptor like me. So so
Of course,
that's
and of course. And if you
yeah,
know that going door to door is actually what's working really well right now, it's just a matter of hitting more doors, right, and having more time, but you can't burn out in the process. So that's an interesting challenge to watch how you're going to manage that to make sure that you stay fit and agile to do your job and build your business, but at the same time, perhaps get some help in some way and form, whatever that looks like, right?
for sure, for sure. I mean, now, yeah, I'm getting like more partnerships, collaborations. I actually recently had a dementia expert that reached out to me that she heard
Yeah.
from someone else from another province. So now she's testing it. If it goes well, she's gonna write a letter of recommendation to make it more an approved dementia assistive hearing device. So that's
Yeah.
opens more doors, right? So I'm happy with that too. So every day is
And,
something
and,
new.
and another idea, I'm just spitballing right now because I love brainstorming. I love ideas, right? And this is what why I love chatting to other business owners. And maybe you can find someone to partner with and actually create your own events without the other hearing aids coming along, right?
Yeah, yeah. I do my own events, yeah, but these are the big innovation ones, right? That everyone comes. So then,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but yeah.
one day, you never know. Hey, there's so many different ways to build a business. Wonderful. And I'm just seeing Randy's had a joke about the pig that fell in the mud. I'm not very good at understanding jokes, but I like that. Let's keep it happy and joyful. So with this in mind, we're finishing up, and I just want to let anyone know that Snappy Chat will not be going for the next month or so, because I'm actually going back to Denmark on Thursday for a month, which is going to be wonderful.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah, very excited to go back and see family and friends. So with this in mind, I just want you to tell everyone who's still here or listening afterwards, how can they reach out to you, etc., and who are you looking to connect with?
Yeah, I actually have 2 websites now. So now there's a www.theinnerflow.ca, so flow without the W, and .com, so www.theinnerflow.com, and there's blogs, there's testimonies, online shop with tons of reading material, technology, everything you want to know is on there. Our Instagram is at the Flo Group, so we have more and more social media stuff, achievements and events that we're doing, and yeah, like I keep doing. I love doing this show, like, 'cause this is my 3rd time, but I think you're doing such a great job. Like, you're like a mentor of mine, and I've always want to make time for you anytime I can, because it's
I love these chats. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm actually going to turn it into a podcast, but like you, I'm a one-man band, and there's more to it. It's not just going on YouTube and setting up a podcast. Apparently, there's a lot of things around GEO and SEO and all these things that you got to get right. The thumbnails have to be something that actually sparks that to get attention. So I'm like, gosh, there's a lot to learn here. So everything is a learning curve for me as well. So it is turning into a podcast, and the Snappy Chat will be fortnightly, and then there'll be some other more in-depth conversations with other collaborations, maybe like yourself, and then there'll also be some classes from me as well, which is just me sharing some knowledge and some practical tips and stuff.
Actually, now you mentioned that, I actually did start my own podcast too, but it's my mentor that I podcast with. She made me my own one, so I'm doing 6 episodes of my own, but then I can actually host it as well later. So maybe you could be my guest one down the road too.
Yeah,
It's called Power Up the Inner Flow, but there's no one looking at her now. It's no one. I haven't even told anyone, but now, so it's in the works.
Well, that's
right?
Excellent. It's all in the works, and we're going to put it out there, because why wouldn't we? And people can learn from, you got a message, and you got a product, and you got a way to make hearing more available to more people, which is really important. So it's an important question. So yes, it's always fun and games. And this is the beautiful thing about meeting people on LinkedIn, and yourself as well, is that sometimes we can just help each other, right? You're starting a YouTube or a podcast, and I'm trying to start it. Well, we can figure it out together and do our own thing, and also collaborate. And this is the beauty of everyone here. Randy, and you do solo so very well. Thank you so much. Yes, I like doing solo. I actually really enjoy it. I never knew I was going to enjoy this so much. Well, I'm a focus group. I've done qualitative research for a long time, so I like talking to people and learning.
Yeah,
Jim says, can you share your... Thank you. He says, afterwards, do you mind, Michael, going in and sharing your websites in the comments? Because there's someone asking for your websites. Yeah. Okay. So you can just go into LinkedIn and go into this, and then you can share it there.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll do that afterwards.
Afterwards. Okay. We're going to finish up now. So thank you so much for being a guest again. I'm sure we'll do another collaboration in the future, and keep going. Hey, we both believe in resilience, so we'll keep going, and we're going to be very successful. We already are.
I hope, for sure. We'll probably have a 12-part series later down the road, and it'll be like, I think I made a friend for life, so I'm glad we met. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the beautiful thing about LinkedIn. I've actually met quite a few friends that I would love to meet in real lifetime at some point. So hopefully I will, and you will be one of them.
Thank you. You too.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Bye. See you.